Hello everyone and welcome back once again to Strategic Mind Blitzkrieg. We've gotten through Barbarossa and taken a big chunk out of the Soviet territory. Let's continue on with the siege of Leningrad as well. Or it's just like, yeah, they call it siege. Okay. Barely any prestige left. Probably won't be able to buy new units once again. Oh well. Anyway. Let's see, because we now have 400 again. Might just as well go for Elite Corps, so a total of 7. Just keep it at that. Yep, that's probably for the best. I really do want to get my forces up that high, so it will be kind of bad if they can't reach it. Let's take a look at the units. First of all, always do the strength. And we'll see where we're at that point. I see, that's already a big chunk. But we did also get another artillery, by the way, so in the tank. So ultimately, it's not that bad, probably. Alright, let's see. Upgrades are Focke-Wulf 190A. Alright. So that's gonna cost a lot. So let's just take a look at some of this other stuff first. Generally, I do like to have Wolframen on my units too. Training in progress. So, do I need to buy an anti-tank for him? Okay, while this unit is at 8 strength or less, deal 15 damage to tanks or infantry. Okay. It's a shame I cannot get them to just take damage by themselves. At that point, I also don't necessarily want to give it additional strength because it needs to take damage. Let's see, again, you don't need that flamethrower. I don't know why they keep having that flamethrower. Right, well, I guess I'll have to do. Let's see.
Leningrad was the initial objective of the Army Group North. After the city has fallen, the troops will be freed up for transfer to other invasion corridors, wherever the situation is most dire. These reinforcements will relieve a lot of our soldiers.
That's true.
Taking Leningrad will require solid coordination between all branches of our military forces. While the infantry and armored divisions enter urban warfare, the U-boats will be taking care of the enemy's battleships. The Air Force, however, will be the busiest. They will need to provide cover for our ground forces from the enemy aircraft, subdue hostile artillery, and attack the Soviet Baltic Fleet. All part of the same operation. Be ready for unpredictable shifts in the tactical situation. That, in turn, will require on-the-fly adjustment in our own tactics.
Pretty much like every single mission.
Stock up on anti-tank guns, or better yet, the 88mm flak cannons. The Soviet heavy tanks are tough to breach. You will need overwhelming firepower. Our own tanks should not even think about approaching any of those beasts up close. In an open battle, we'll be outmatched. At a distance, however, we stand a chance. Now is the time for artillery and aviation.
Yep.
Capturing Leningrad will cut the USSR's access to the Baltic Sea, a major strategic victory for us. Germany will become the sovereign of the Baltic region, and we will be able to supply our troops by sea with little fear of enemy raids.
Quite true, but then still you have to get it from Leningrad somewhere else.
We must concentrate all our attention on only the key objective, the city of Moscow. The Army Group Center is advancing to the city swiftly.
Halder, you are correct. However, do not forget that our immediate priority is to take Leningrad. We have to destroy the Baltic Fleet and its air force. The Russians must be taught a very harsh lesson for their brazen folly of bombing Berlin. How dare they bomb our capital?
Herr Führer, our naval forces will do everything possible to assist our ground and air forces against the enemy fleet. Acting together, we will deprive the Russian Navy of its major naval base.
I would much have preferred that the Russian Navy cease to exist altogether.
I have a suggestion, Herr Führer. Instead of taking Leningrad, we could send some of the forces of the Army Group North to support the Army Group Center in its vital operation against Moscow.
The Army Group Center can manage the occupation of Moscow on its own. It is better to take Leningrad and establish additional supply routes through the Baltic Sea.
I think the support of the Army Group North could be crucial for capturing Moscow before the winter comes, Herr Hitler.
Guderian, I saw the reports that your troops have slowed down in their advance on Moscow. What is going on there?
Herr Führer, unfortunately our advance deeper into the Soviet territory is hindered by a large number of new heavy tank models in the enemy ranks.
Are you implying that their tanks are better than ours?
I am not implying. I am saying it plainly. The program of modernization of our tanks should be enhanced and sped up. New tank models must answer the threat posed by the powerful Russian tanks and be superior to them.
Halda, you are to develop and execute a new plan for storming Leningrad in the shortest time possible. You are dismissed. Guderian, please stay. The Fuhrer and our plenipotentiary of the 4-year plan are both ready to hear your suggestions on the new tanks.
I will be right back in just 5 minutes. Franz, please wait for me.
Guderian, is it true that the Russians have come up with some sort of invincible tank?
Franz, can I ask you for a friendly favor?
Sure, ask away.
During the storming of Leningrad, it should be required for you to send a trustworthy group of men to evacuate the Amber Room and other valuable museum masterpieces.
Our logistics are already complicated as it is. I bet you would like to have the entire Hermitage sent to your residence.
No, nothing of that sort. Only the hand-picked masterpieces of the best European painters. The Russian so-called art is of little interest to me.
Is it that important to you?
Halder, it is important for the whole Reich. The art will be exhibited in the new Führer Museum in Linz. When it is finished, that is. Until then, I will be responsible for its safekeeping.
You will have it, Reichsmarschall. I will issue the necessary orders.
Thank you, Halder. My secretary will provide you with a number of folders with the catalogs of art I require.
My God. Also, Halder was again complaining. He wanted to prevent this mission by going to Moscow. So he is, strictly speaking, he was again against the operation here.
Gentlemen, before we take Moscow, we needed to be cut off from Russia's northern capital. The aerial raids on Berlin conducted from Leningrad must not continue. This Bolshevik den must be burned out once and for all.
I agree. The Soviet Baltic Fleet has been disrupting our communications since the first day of the war. They are operating out of Kronstadt, so we need to take care of it as well.
The Baltic Fleet must absolutely be destroyed, but Kronstadt is a low-priority target under current conditions. However, should the opportune moment come, you have my permission to capture it as well. Remember that Leningrad is your primary objective. Without it, our smaller victories in the region can be swiftly reversed. Hulda, give me the list of key strategic points.
At once, we need to capture the following. The villages of Kolpina and Gorelovo on the city's outskirts, the Leningrad Naval Base, Baltijsky Railway Station, and Ladorsky Railway Station, Vasilevsky Island, the villages of Sevolorsk, Tosno, and Sertolova.
Add the Kirov plant to that list. The Soviets are making their KV-1 heavy tanks there. I would like that plant captured if possible, with minimum structural damage. I'm sure the Panzer Corps could be rejuvenated by the technology stored there.
Dearest Heinz, if you value the Russian industry so much, perhaps you can talk the Reds into surrendering. Otherwise, our troops will face such resistance in Leningrad that the Kirov plant will become an insignificant target.
Rommel is correct. Our units will be fighting house to house in a city crawling with Soviet troops. If we aren't careful, they will simply dissolve there. We need to make use of the breaches and weak points in the enemy defense.
I know one such breach. It's Schlieselberg, the last link connecting Leningrad with the rest of the Soviet territory. Capture it and the resulting blockade around the city will be impenetrable. This will leave the Soviet troops without supplies.
And also food. We must definitely try it. However, this blockade will mostly be a venture for our naval forces.
Our Navy is standing by for your orders. But I won't deploy them while the coastal artillery at Krasnaya Gorka and Kronstadt remain active. They have the passage into the Gulf of Finland locked down tight. Besides, Kronstadt is where the Soviet battleships are based. The two monsters called Marat and Oktoberskaya Revolutia. They're ancient like the Russian military tradition itself. But if we get too close, they would nevertheless crush our lighter ships.
No, no, I forbid it! Our Navy must not risk its ships. Halda, you will receive naval support only after you've dealt with all those threats. Do not fret, you will not be alone in this. Our Finnish allies are preparing a massive attack from the north. Mannerheim and I just need to iron out some of the key specifics.
Just a few specifics, eh? At any rate, I think one of the most important attacks is then indeed going to be towards Schlieselberg. Well, and then subsequently, I guess, up north here. Well, anyway, Let's take a look, because we have a lot of bombers here. 1 AA, 1 AA, no AA. And ideally, I will have 2 of them here. To artillery, and I guess I'll put you. I'll have 2 fighters. I can always deploy the Fallschirm a bit later, but alright, this is pretty decent. Then I'll also have at least 2 fighters and a strategic bomber. Then I want to make this another more powerful force. I know we have some forces in these areas, but they are going to be lighter and they are less important. Not having a recon here, though, is a bit of a bummer. Maybe I should just have 2 artillery. Yeah. I do that there. I don't even have infantry in here. I'll once again leave those Fallschirm. Yeah, this will be fine. What I do want, though, is the hero fighter here. All right. Always nice to immediately see those super heavy tanks out there. Always a pleasure. And I'm sure they indeed also have AA there. They do, okay. Oh, and 8, huh? Now, especially at the start, I need to be very careful because of enemy fighters, etc. They probably have AA in the back. The overrun in this case doesn't really matter anymore. I'd like to get there on turn 2. I only have 14 turns in total. Which does suggest that you really indeed need to get this quickly, and then all the enemy units are supposedly going to run out of ammo, etc. Destroying this already would be pretty great. I'm most certainly blocking this area with the infantry. Let's leave them in there with the one ammo. Or yeah. Seems like that is also going to give me supply now, so there's no reason not to go in there. They'll probably have AA in there too, most likely on this hex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which sucks, but they're already out of supply. That's a bit unexpected because yeah, I'd actually really hope that that will allow me to get them without AA. At least they no longer have their Overwatch. So I guess I have to take a look, because if they... No, they don't have mobile. Okay, so just moving at that point is the way to go. Look at this. It's a fairly decent chance they might be able to get all the way up there. It's certainly going to be my goal to do that. Okay. That's an AA gun if I ever saw one. How much for? I will have to defend this then. Right, so in order to get this to 8, This seems like a fairly decent thing to do. They'll get attacked first. They're at 8. Let's see how that works, because as for the hero, they will need to do it to tanks or infantry. Well, okay, but they're at 8 now. These are only damaged. Ah, that sucks. Okay. Never thought that I would I would say that. That's okay. Okay, they don't seem to be having all that much in that area. And there's no attack for these guys anymore. I guess the AI can see it because they just attacked it either way. This is likely to be an infantry. The reason why I'm doing it with them is because I can go for an overrun and still land at the airfield once the rest of my units is down there. So you don't have overrun. No, they don't. No, they haven't gotten... No, they don't get experience after an overrun, so... It also doesn't matter. One thing that is quite important though is to keep also my artillery hidden. They only have 6 movement. They'll be in quite a bit of trouble there. One thing... that would be better is just to kill them then. Get you back in. Get you back in. Back in there. All the bombers for this turn will go back in. I need to defeat the initial wave of Soviet air units. That's a bummer. Down to 2A. So they're not really going to deal any damage, but I still feel... Yeah, you cannot go into the woods. You can go into these woods. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely moving back. What else would I want to protect down here? I guess the bunker flak is... Yeah. The areas where I need to be even more careful are the areas in the center. Currently at 15. Okay then. Let's start there. And get an overrun there. I practically want to get these guys back to the same place, even though they are going to try and deal with that. Except for the KV, I suppose. They probably only have an infantry in there, but I don't really have the ability to deal with it there. You guys do... Yeah, at this point they should really only attack after moving. I did have the recon. Oh, that was so dumb. That cost me just 15 prestige. Because I did not move for the recon. Wow. Great. And with that I mean not actually great. Obviously, so back. Yeah, this is obviously not super great. In that sense, at the center here, things are even worse. Especially since I do have to be super careful also of those KVs. I mean, these guys do get their supplies this turn also. And you do have a movement of 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I definitely would be best off having just the infantry up front. You here. Yeah, I do think that's it. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, why not? Let's see. I have to say I'm a bit bummed out they indeed did go in that direction. Haha. Man, that does suck. Yeah. Ow. Yeah, I already see that high strength bomber there. This one. Yeah, we were bound to take some damage here or there anyway, but it's not too bad.
I hope you did not forget my request, Halder. The Amber Room. This treasure must be evacuated to Germany, away from the Bolsheviks' barbaric paws.
Franz, I have heard the expert of tank combat Zinovy Kolobanov has joined the defenders of Leningrad. Unlike the majority of Soviet tankmen, he is an experienced soldier who went through the whole Winter War with Finland. It is best to get rid of him fast. Otherwise, he will continue to plague our armored units.
Did I just hear a note of respect in your voice, Guderian?
Less irony, Halder. Even though I am convinced of the superiority of German tank forces' combat doctrine, I have to give it to the Russians that they have some talented tank officers.
I am sure they have. Fortunately, I have you to counter them. Make sure this Kolobanov does not make too much trouble for us during the storming of Leningrad.
Indeed. Well, capturing the Amber Room, as it is not really that problematic of an objective, as for all intents and purposes, it just means that I can do that whenever I damn well feel like. Alright, now's the time to try and get the AI to give up Schlieselberg and cut off all of the Soviet forces. Because this is just a sea port, but they don't have a sea supply hex. Yep. They ain't getting any. And this is just linked to nothing, so... They're not getting it through here. It doesn't reach out that far. This applies only to this. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna wrap things up here. I want to thank you for watching. This episode was brought to you by my Patreon supporter, Pumnarau. I want to thank all of you for watching, so a special shout out to all my Patreon supporters as well, which is Pumnarau, Dungeon Pastor, Sea Data, Swords, Mandingo, Tomislav Trillin, and Pooch. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.